Right now, behind the closed doors of a hotel in Pakistan, a secret deal is being signed that will determine the price of the fuel in your car for the next 6 months. We're talking about a desperate 15-point plan from Donald Trump to end the war with Iran before he meets the Xi Jinping in May. At the same moment, Vladimir Putin has issued a sudden order to stop all military actions for Orthodox Easter, while his missiles are still hitting targets in Nikopol and Zhytomyr. Why did American First Lady Melania Trump choose this exact day to break her silence and testify about her ties to Jeffrey Epstein network? This is not a coincidence, it's a synchronized cleanup on the global political stage. Today, I'll show you how a massive strike in American ports, a fake religious truce in Europe, and a legal shield for the Trump family are all connected to a single deadline in November. You need to know why the elites are suddenly afraid of the truth and what specific facts they are trying to hide behind the word peace. If you think these events are separate, you're missing the most dangerous shift in modern history. Let us look at the evidence that the mainstream media is too scared to show you. I am Blondie War, and I will analyze the hidden patterns of global control that affect your daily life and your financial security. While others repeat the official headlines, I investigate the documents and the timelines to find the real motives of those in power. If you want to understand the mechanism of the coming economic crisis and the secret deals between the East and the West, you're in the right point, in the right place. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notifications to ensure you have the facts before the next market shift happens. Information is the only tool that can protect you when the system begins to fail. Now, let me dive into the first critical point of this global gamble, which is unfolding in the territory of Pakistan. While the world focuses on trivial headlines, a much more cynical game is unfolding in Pakistan right now. Behind the closed doors on the high-end hotels, delegations from the United States and Iran are attempting to do the impossible. Find common ground where none exists. Do not be fooled by diplomatic smiles or talk of the humanitarian stability that you see on the news. For Donald Trump, these talks are not about bringing peace to the world, to the Middle East, or saving lives in Lebanon, for example. It is a cold and calculated mode driven by the ticking clock of the American political calendar. Trump has a state visit from King Charles later this month, followed by a high-stakes summit with China's President Xi Jinping in May. These midterm elections in November are the ultimate pressure point for this administration. A president cannot campaign on the platform of greediness while American citizens are paying record prices at the fuel pump every single day. The conflict in the Middle East, fueled by rapid escalation by Israeli actions in Beirut, had pushed oil markets into a state of total frenzy. Trump needs the kinetic events to be spoken of in the past tense as soon as possible. He needs to supply the chains to stabilize before summer holiday, before summer season begins and people start traveling. To him, this negotiation is a simple logistic problem that needs a quick, dirty fix. On the other side on the table sits the Iranian regime, which is equally desperate. They're defiant in public, still launching hardware and flooding social media with AI-generated content propaganda to look strong. But the reality inside Iran is far grimmer. The cities have ground and the economy stands still, and their infrastructure is facing a critical situation that they cannot ignore any longer. They're not here because they want peace. They're here because they need to regroup and buy some time to survive the crashing pressure in the Western world. The gap between these two sides is staggering and almost impossible to bridge. Trump is pushing a 15-point plan that functions more like a surrender document than a basis for real negotiation. It demands concessions that Iran has spent decades refusing to even discuss with anyone. Meanwhile, Iran has countered with its own 10-point plan, which Washington has rejected time and time again. There is a total absence of trust in that realm. The only reason they're still talking is because the cost of walking away is currently higher than cost of staying in Iran. The biggest obstacle remains the reality on the ground, which no one can hide. As these diplomats argue over phrasing in Pakistan, America's full partner, Israel, has significantly escalated its activities in Lebanon. The smoke over Beirut makes the air in Pakistan feel even more stagnant and heavy. We are witnessing a desperate attempt to force a ceasefire through sheer political will, even as the military realities move in the completely opposite direction. Across the European continent, another tactical pause is being engineered under the guise of religious respect and tradition. Vladimir Putin has unexpectedly ordered Russian troops to cease fire in all directions starting this Saturday to mark Orthodox Easter. This declaration from Moscow came after months of ignoring similar calls from Kiev, which makes the sudden change in tone highly suspicious to any expert. Putin expects Ukraine to have followed this example immediately. However, history suggests that this period of silence are rarely about peace or human lives. Earlier this year, Russia claimed an energy truce during the winter, which lasted just long enough for them to prepare the next major impact on infrastructure and power plants. Last May, a similar halt was declared for a victory anniversary only for Ukraine to record hundreds of ceasefire violations within the first few hours. The soldiers along the front line in the east are extremely skeptical on this news. They are currently being hounded relentlessly by attack drones and military hardware that do not recognize any holiday schedules. Just recently, a tragic incident involving a drone strike on a bus in Nikopol took more lives, while a missile landing in Zhytomyr resulted in another civilian loss in the middle of the morning. Imagine that. The air raid sirens in Kiev went off shortly after the truce was announced, serving as a reminder that the strategic shift has not yet reached the actual ground. Ukraine has also increased its own drone strikes targeting energy exports and military assets inside Russia to put pressure on the Kremlin. What Kyiv truly wants is a full and stable ceasefire as the first step toward a lasting settlement. But Moscow insists on agreeing to a final peace deal before stopping kinetic events. This fundamental disagreement turns the Easter truce into a very fragile and dangerous window of time. For the Kremlin, this is a chance to steal the initiative and present themselves as the rational actor to the global community. For Ukraine, it's a brave moment to allow civilians to breathe, even if the shade of the next missile strike is already looming over the horizon. The reality of the conflict is the both sides are likely using this pause to reorganize their defense systems and adjust their strategic positions for the intense escalation expected in coming months. While the world is distracted by talk of ceasefire and military summits, a different kind of defense is being built inside the White House. First Lady Melania Trump has taken the unprecedented step on publicly denying any functional connection to Jeffrey Epstein. She explicitly denied online rumors that Epstein introduced her to Donald Trump, labeling them as mean-spirited attempts to defame her reputation. This is not just a personal statement, it is a calculated legal and PR shield designed to protect the future of the administration. Melania admitted to briefly crossing paths with Epstein in the year 2000, but insisted she had no knowledge of the mistreatment of his victims. However, the release of all correspondence from the Epstein files complicates this narrative significantly. An email from the year 2002 addressed to Ghislaine Maxwell shows Melania writing in a very friendly and familiar tone. She mentioned that she could not wait to go to Palm Beach and ended the message with her love. The White House described this as a mere casual correspondence and polite reply, but in the current high-stake political situation, every single word is potential liability. It is important to remember that during that same period, Donald Trump was quoted in New York Magazine describing Epstein as a terrific guy who liked beautiful women just as much as he did. By calling for the survivors to testify under oath, Melania is attempting to flip the script and take control of the conversation. She is positioning herself as the champion for the truth to prevent these shaders from the past from influencing the current situation, negotiations with world leaders like Xi Jinping, for example. Several prominent business leaders have recently been removed from their positions due to their ties to the specific network of Epstein, and the Trump family knows they could be next target. This public denial is a strategic shift to ensure that when the midterm elections arrive, the narrative is already controlled and sanitized. They're working openly to uncover a specific version of the truth before their political opponents can weaponize the hidden files against them. In the world of high-level politics, there are no coincidence when it comes to timing. This statement was not on the official schedule because it was designed to be a sudden strike against a global reputational threat that could derail everything they have planned for summer. We're looking at three different corners of the world, and each one the elites are subtly trying to settle all debts and pose active conflict at the exact same time. Do you believe that the Easter truce and the peace talks in Pakistan are a genuine sign of a strategic shift toward global stability? Or this is simply a coordinated effort to keep petrol prices low and reputations clean before the major summits and elections? I really want to know your honest opinion in comments below. Are we witnessing the beginning of a global and real dialogue, or this is just elaborate tactical pause in modern history designed to trick the public? What do you think? Your e-signs often reveal more than an official report, so let us start a serious discussion about what is really happening behind the scenes. The month of May will be the true test for everything we have discussed today. When the state visits end and the religious holidays pass, the reality of the geopolitical clash will return with full force, and we'll see the results of these secret deals. We must continue to look at the facts and the detailed movements of those in power to understand what is truly coming next for all of us. The peace we see today is built on a very thin foundation of political necessity and economic fear. Thank you very much for being with me, for staying informed, and for having the courage to look deeper in mechanism of your world. I will be here to track next move in this dangerous global gamble. Stay safe, stay aware, and I'll see you in my next video. Subscribe to my channel right now. Bye!